There we go. And we're going to set all of these guys to Switchport access VLAN 101. And we have now assigned all the ports 1 through 8 to VLAN 101. Let's see. Let's go back. And 9 through, oh, let's see, 15. So we're now going to configure a different range and set it to Switchport access VLAN. Let's assign it to PR 102. And good. We're just going to work with those. We're also going to go in and let's change interface range 1 through 15. And we're going to set them so that they are all access ports. That way, somebody can't plug into them and set them up as a trunk port to pull all of your VLAN information and just really mess with your network. So switch port, mode, access. All right. The other thing we want to do with all of this is, one of the cool things is we can set up a telephony VLAN. Now, normally when you're talking about assigning VLANs to a port, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. You set up a port and it's on a single VLAN. Now, there is the exception of IP telephony. You can assign 2 VLANs to a port, your access VLAN and your voice over IP VLAN. So you can basically hook a phone into that port and then hook a computer into the backside of the phone, so you don't have to run more Ethernet cable to your network to enable IP telephony. So we're going to set, what is it? So let's see, we're already in ports 1 through 5, so switch ports, voice, VLAN 103. Now it knows if you hook a phone into any of these ports, it's going to allow the phone to communicate on VLAN 103. And it's there's really not much more configuration other than that. It recognizes, oh, that's a phone. Yeah, you're on VLAN 103. It's so simple. Let's see. And that's really all there is to setting up ports to different VLANs and even setting up IP telephony on your switch to support IP telephony and different VLAN access on a single port. Now, the other piece that is interesting is let's set up a trunk port. So let's go over interface FA1, sorry, 1/0/24. Okay. Oh. Huh. It just kicked me out of the range. No biggie. Double check. Yeah. Okay. Now, we're going to set up a trunk port here. So let's do some interesting things. We are going to say switch port, mode, and there are a few different things that we can put in here. We can put in access, which makes it an access port, which means no VLAN information is going to be sent across this port. A computer plugs into it, it doesn't know what VLAN it's on. It's not going to receive VLAN information saying, hey, you're on VLAN 101. It just goes, oh, I'm on the network. The switch handles adding VLAN information to any of the traffic. So that way, nobody can plug into your switch and pull out VLAN information from your network. .1 Q tunnel, there's dynamic. What dynamic does is there's a couple of different versions of dynamic. You have dynamic desirable. If you set up a port so that's dynamic desirable, it's going to automatically figure out if it is an access port or a trunk port, and it's going to initiate that negotiation. It's going to talk to whatever plugs into it if another switch is plugged into it, it's going to go over to the other switch and go, hey, let's set up a trunk port together. The other piece that you can do is Switchport mode dynamic auto. So if something gets plugged into it, that switch is going to be passive, and it's going to wait to be told what to do. By default, it's going to go to Switchport mode access, but if you plug a switch into it and the switch on the other end is set to either trunk or dynamic desirable, it's going to listen and go, oh, you want me to be a trunk port, and it'll set itself up as a trunk port. If you set up another switch connected to that port, and it is also dynamic auto, the two are going to default to access ports, because neither switch is telling each other what to do. So by default, they're going to go, I'm an access port, unless it is told. And to be able to be told, it has to use dynamic desirable. In this case, we're going to set it to Switchport mode trunk, because we want it to be a trunk port. I like, what? Interfaces. Oh, we have to set encapsulation. Oops. Switchport trunk encapsulation. So we're going to set it to 802.1q, which is what people use nowadays. The ISL is really being phased out, and everybody's moving away from it, and to the more open standard 802.1q. So if we want to do 802.1q trunking, we just tell it dot 1q. All right, so now we've set it to use 802.1q for our protocol. Now let's go back up. Now let's set it to be a trunk port. Now, I don't like using the dynamics, because you don't know what you're going to get when somebody plugs into it. Somebody can plug in, a rogue switch into your network and start pulling VTP information off of it, etc. I like to tell every port on all of my switches to either be access or trunking. Then there is no doubt as to what's going to happen across that port, and it lessens your vulnerability. So, we've set this guy to use 802.1q, and we've told it to be a trunk. Now, let's see. The other thing, everybody knows, hey, VLAN 1 is your default. Now, we're going to set this. So, Switchport VLAN default 99. Switchport. What is it? Huh. Thought that's what it was. Well, I'll come back and deal with that later. All right. I am totally spacing out on how to do a command, but we'll figure it out later.
VLAN? Trunk native VLAN?
Is it trunk native?
Question mark.
Okay, thanks. So it is Switchport trunk native VLAN 99. And what that's going to do is thank you, Alan, instead of using VLAN 1 to send all of its VTP information, all of that VTP information is going to go across VLAN 99 now. So now we've set up all of these. We've set up our switch